And now on to politics and the bus tours and the trips to the county fairs and the kissing babies and shaking hands and now dadgummits and y'alls. The candidates who are in the running are just so down home, except maybe for Mitt Romney and President Obama, but they're trying. If you notice, they're leaving their shirts open and they're leaving the G's off the end of words. But does America still yearn for a down-home style president? And didn't those who elected President Obama want an intellectual? Well, we've got the people to ask. Tevi Troy used to prep candidates for debates, including President George W. Bush. And Martha Burke is a political psychologist. Welcome to you both.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So Martha, let's start with you. What kind of language do voters want to hear this time around?
Well, I think they want a little bit better language, a little more intellectual, as you say. Maybe not so much intellectual as smart. And there is a difference in that. An intellectual is seen more as a pointy head, but a smart, can they get us out of this mess we're in economically? And I think they want a little more high-minded language. The y'alls and the dropping the G's, that gets old pretty quick. And I think we had 8 years of that, and a lot of people are tired of it.
Okay. Well, Tevi, let's explore that theme a little more because, for example, Rick Perry, we could talk about him endlessly. This morning on Politico, there's an article about his cowboy talk. Congressional Republicans are saying, cut the cowboy talk right now because it's beginning to hurt you. What do you think?
Well, first of all, you have to be true to yourself, right? You can't pretend to be someone you're not. In terms of the cowboy talk, I think the article is really talking about their concern he's going to make some gaffe, he might make some mistake, he might overspeak like his comment about Ben Bernanke. But in terms of connecting with the voters, he does have a kind of an easy style, and he is very good at connecting with voters one-on-one. He's going out into crowds, so that works well. At the same time, he has to be careful that he doesn't kind of overdo it in trying to outflank Michelle Bachmann from the right.
Well, according to this article, his treason comment was a serious gaffe.
Oh, absolutely, and he has to be very careful of gaffes. I mean, the article suggests that that he's almost one step away from making a big mistake, and there's a lot of people kind of waiting on tenterhooks, seeing is he going to make a big mistake, and they're perhaps reluctant to join him until they see that he can go gaffe-free for a while. Okay, well, let's move on to Michelle Bachmann, because the news we cover aside, she looks great. I mean, you look at her ad ahead of the Iowa straw poll. She's decked out in this beautiful yellow jacket. She has dangly earrings, not, conservative ones, but pretty big ones, actually. No pantsuits here. So what message is she sending, Martha?
Well, I think she's sending the message, yes, I can be the president. I am presidential looking. And that is very important. I think women in pantsuits were legitimized, in my view, appropriately, but there are a lot of voters that want a ladylike but competent president. She is projecting that image, at least visually. As she opens her mouth more and more, it's maybe a problem. As my colleague says, you can make a fatal gaffe. She's teetered on the edge of that a couple of times herself.
Well, let's talk about that because
she does look presidential.
Speaking of gaffes, let's listen to a recent gaffe, unfortunately, that Michelle Bachmann made.
Before we get started, let's all say happy birthday to Elvis Presley today. Happy birthday!
Now, of course, a lot of Democrats like to make fun of that, but Tevi, is that really a serious gaffe? I mean, everything she says remotely wrong seems to really resonate.
Yeah, it's a good point. Look, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody goes without making mistakes on the campaign trail. The question is, do you get caught in a pattern of mistakes? This happened to Al Gore back in 2000, this whole lying thing that he seemed to be lying over and over again. I invented the internet and so forth. So when you have a pattern of misstatements or a pattern of mistakes, that's when it gets to be a problem. And Michelle Bachmann also made the John Wayne mistake, confusing him with John Wayne Gacy a little while back. So I think it's great to connect to great American icons like Elvis and John Wayne, but you have to make sure you have your facts right when you're doing it.
Mitt Romney, we have to talk about him because where'd he go? I mean, he's not getting any of the headlines, it seems. So, Martha, what do you think? How does Mitt Romney have to change his language to stand out more?
I'm not sure he does have to change his language. You know, I was talking with some Texans last night about Perry versus Romney, and the first thing they said to me is, we want a statesman this time, not someone that comes out shooting. And they said, we voted for Perry for governor, but we would not vote for him for president. He's not presidential enough. Romney's a little bit grayer, if you will, a little more boring, but he's also very presidential looking. Perry comes close in terms of his clothing and his demeanor at times. It looks good in his commercials, but when he gets out there with the crowds, Romney just looks more presidential in comparison.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk about President Obama, because when he did his Midwest bus tour, he had an open shirt. He was joking with the crowds, but he can't be too down home because he is president of the United States, but he tries. Let's listen to what he said to our Wolf Blitzer.
The last time you were elected, you got Sasha and Malia a cute little puppy.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. What are you going to get them the next time, if you're reelected?
When I'm reelected, what I'll be getting them is a continuation of Secret Service so that when boys want to start dating them, they are going to be surrounded by men with guns. That's their gift.
So, Tevi, is that the proper form of, I mean, he's got to be a little humorous. He can't talk about gloom and doom. He does have to connect to voters in a human way. So is he doing that by saying those sorts of things?
Yeah, well, you know, that's an old and a good joke about presidents with daughters in the White House that get the Secret Service protection. So I'm all about that. But my thought with President Obama is he's got a very different task this time, right? The first time was all about hope and change, and he said, you know, when he's elected, that this is going to be the moment when the earth starts to heal. Now, he's had 2.5 years as president, and people said, whoa, he doesn't just snap his fingers and make the earth heal. So what kind of message is he going to send? He also has to not blame too much because he's gotten some hits for appearing to blame the other guys for all of the problems. So he has to say, it's not my fault, but not necessarily blame everybody else as well. So he's got a tough road to hoe, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes down. Thanks to both of you this morning, Tevi Troy and Martha Burke. It's been a fascinating conversation. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.